One of the most common ways of co-teaching is one that we have seen done year after year, but it just has a little different twist. It's called One Teach, One Observe. The definition of One Teach, One Observe is that one teacher has a primary instructional responsibility in front of the class, and the other teacher, teacher candidate or cooperating teacher, gathers specific observational information on students or on the instructing teacher. One of the advantages in co-teaching is that more detailed observation of students engaged in the learning process can occur. When one teaches and one observes in co-teaching, the teacher should decide in advance what types of information are to be gathered during the observation and then should agree on a system for gathering that data. Afterwards, the teachers should analyze the information together. That is, observation should be a deliberate part of the lesson, not just the teacher's incidental checks of student activities. The best time to use One Teach, One Observe would be in new co-teaching situations. It would be good to use when there are questions that arise about individual students and their needs. It can be used to check student progress, and it can be used to compare target students to others in class. Remember that either the teacher candidate or the cooperating teacher can be the observer. If one is observing a student to gather data, the other one can teach. So have your observation center around specific questions, such as which students initiate conversations in cooperating groups, which students begin or do not begin to work promptly. Is Annie's inattention about the same or greater than other students in the class? Are the teacher's questions addressed more to boys or girls? And what does Johnny do when he's confused during assignments? Those were several applications that we can use when we're using co-teaching in the classroom. But lastly, good assessment begins with good objectives and ways to measure those that give the most meaning. A rubric could be designed ahead of time for the observer to measure during the data collection process. There can be a pre and post observation to see if behavior changes over time for students. An observer can watch for positive or negative or neutral teacher-student interactions. An observer can watch for various concerns regarding disabilities. Diagrams can be used to chart teachers' patterns of movement or other physical items. Using Bloom's taxonomy, an observer can chart the questions asked by the teacher. There can be questioning strategies, K for knowledge, yes or no, rote responses, literal responses, H for higher level, analysis, synthesis, evaluation. And then we can identify key elements of the lesson. How was the learning target identified for students? And how did the teacher find out what students already knew or think they knew about that learning objective? How did the teacher teach the new learning? And how students were overtly engaged. When did they start at the beginning of class? Were they engaged throughout the lesson? Can you look at every 30-second time intervals? How about time on task? How about duration of time on task? And then what about teacher behavior while students are working? So this just takes something that happens naturally in a cooperating teacher and teacher candidate situation, but it makes it more deliberate and it uses the data to inform future learning.